Hey guys, today we are going to be checking out Unimog, the massive Mercedes truck you've never heard of. I'm so excited for this one, but if you're new on the channel, I'm your host for today. Let's go.
Whether you're driving through a bog or over a log, or up a mountain in the fog, in the mud like a hog, or searching the desert for
Mercedes,
your
baby.
long-lost dog. Whether you need a place to
Wow.
watch your mommy blog, there's one vehicle for you. I'm talking about the Mercedes that makes the G-Wagon look like a wee wagon. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on the Unimog, which is, I think, German for a very, very big car.
Yeah.
I want to give a big thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this episode of Up to Speed. Keeps offers scientific of hair loss. I'm glad you asked. The #1 6-star reviews, hair loss / 50%, one of the hardest core disorders. Now, despite a formidable roadblock in its creation, the Unimog has been around for nearly 75 years. It was and still is one of the hardest core trucks around, and the first one was built by a German metals business rather than an auto manufacturer.
It's always the Germans. It's always them.
In 1945, Germany was coming off of back-to-back World War losses. They were looking to rebrand themselves as more of an agricultural type of place and less of a imperial fascist type of place. I wonder why. So farmers set to work tending their fields and yoking their oxen. This did not go unnoticed by a Daimler-Benz AG aircraft engineer by the name of Albert Friedrich. Apparently, old Al didn't like using beasts of burden and thought there ought to be a better way. Albert decided to partner up with a couple of his engineering homies, Hans Zabel and Heinrich Rüssler, to develop the ultimate tractor. And during a very German Bratwurst.
Okay. With that statement, I'm thinking the Germans actually invented tractor. It's always the German. I think the word for this video today is always
brainstorming session, they came up with the fundamentals of the vehicle. Unlike other tractors, ours should have 4 equally large wheels so we can drive on the roads. Ja, and the all-wheel drives. Will you pass the sauerkraut? Yes, of course. We should have portal axles for the extra ground clearance. Ja. Who knew these bratwursts would give us the best ideas? With their design concept complete, they were ready to make a prototype. So they took all their designs to a company called Erhard & Sons, which was well known for manufacturing tractors. And by tractors, of course I mean, they specialized in making jewelry and door handles and dollhouse furniture. But apparently that's a lot like making badass tractor monster trucks, because by 1946, they had created one of the most capable, badass tractor monster trucks of all time. Hans named it the Universal Motorgerät, and they called it the Unimog for short. The prototype was extraordinarily capable, even with its dinky Mercedes 4-cylinder gas engine. But there was one place it was not allowed to go, and that was to war. Now, Germany was still in the doghouse from all that blitzkrieging they had recently unleashed on Europe, which is why they weren't allowed to build new military vehicles. In fact, Daimler wasn't even allowed to make plain old 4-wheel drive vehicles. They actually had to petition the Allies for permission to make the Unimog. They promised that they would only use it for agricultural purposes. Since Mercedes was in timeout and Erhard & Sons didn't have enough production power to manufacture the vehicle, the Unimog turned to tool manufacturer Boehringer. Now, Boehringer hand-built the first model, the Unimog 7200. Okay. I'm used to car names with like 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 numbers in it. This car has a lot of models with like 5 numbers in it. For instance, this one is called the
Wow.
70200. Now I think that's 7,200, maybe 70,200, and I'm not quite sure how to say them, so I'm just gonna do my best. Please be nice to me. Burger built around
Let's go.
600 of these between 1949 and 1951. It was
That's quite not quite. That is very much impressive. Within this short span, he actually the fact they came together, think about, okay, what are we going to reform? At least they saw the agricultural sector and they see need for improvement there, and then brainstorm and come up with this beautiful idea.
just like the prototype, but relied on a bigger Mercedes diesel engine. Now, Unimogs were utilitarian AF with an open cab and flat body panels to keep things super simple and cheap to make. And looks didn't matter because it was really only built to be useful. They were designed to replace an ox, which is probably why the badge for the first Unimogs was a U-shaped ox head. Despite best efforts to keep Germany from making military vehicles, the Unimog was a military darling from the beginning. Duh. The high demand for the do-it-all vehicle resulted in Daimler-Benz taking over production in 1951. Seems like this may have been the plan all along. So in 1955, Daimler created the Big Daddy 404. Some of the other big developments were that it could be had with a steel cab and a straight six gas engine. It was basically a school bus with insane climbing ability, a breakover axle, and ramp angle. The 404 is the most iconic Unimog. The design was so simple and efficient that Mercedes manufactured them for 25 years. That's almost as long as Nissan's been making the 370Z. And they are the most successful model in the nameplate's history. They were used as snowplows, emergency vehicles, farming tractors, military vehicles, and coolest of all, trains.
You can see what one idea could actually, do. This went a long way in the society.
Shoot! I freaking love trades. And that was it for a while. For the next 20 years, the Unimog just sat back and rested on its laurels. And while Daimler developed new models like the 406 medium-sized truck, they were really just variants of the 404. Why reinvent the enormous wheel? Now, even though the Unimog was a tractor, it looked a lot like a truck. But it had a common tractor feature known as power takeoff, or PTO. To this day, the PTO capabilities of the Unimog help it stand out as the Swiss Army knife of off-roaders. PTOs are extra drive shafts that can be powered directly by the engine, and the uses for them are endless. You need to put out a fire? Cool, just attach a water pump to the PTO. You need to till a field? Sick, PTO. Need a snowblower? PTO. For accessories that weren't PTO friendly, Unimogs also could be had with built-in hydraulic and pneumatic systems. The systems became standard in 1963, which helped drive a market for custom accessories like bucket loaders, articulating boom lifts, road maintenance equipment. In fact, they can turn the truck into any heavy-duty construction equipment you could possibly want. Not only could the Unimog do a bunch of stuff, it could also go pretty much everywhere. The Unimog had incredible ground clearance thanks to portal axles, which are basically gearboxes that allow the axle to sit several inches higher than the center of the wheel hub. It's the equivalent of standing on your tippy toes, but for off-roaders. Like if you see any of those bro-dozers at SEMA, the opposite of a mall crawler. It's a freaking wall crawler. Now this setup gives the wheels plenty of room for vertical movement, so the vehicle can drive.
Wait, literally that vehicle came out from that hill?
Over extremely uneven terrain, including 3-foot tall rocks. Which is also the name of
This is cool as
Me and
hell.
Nolan's alt country band, 3 Foot Tall Rocks. Check us out. Then in 1975, they finally dropped a heavy duty series with the 4.5 ton U1300L and 5.5 ton U1700L. These were the big boy versions and featured the 5.7 liter inline 6 diesel engines, with the 17 offering your choice of turbocharger or supercharger for extra mustard. Well, having a heavy-duty Unimog was important for obvious reasons. Probably the most important thing about this model is that Arnold friggin' Schwarzenegger owned one. Now, while Arnie wanted to escape the superficial realm of Hollywood, he didn't get to the chopper.
You guys are super upset. Sorry, I'm using the word upset. But when it comes to Germany, there's a lot of American-ish content you will find there. I don't mean literal content, but there's something they have to say about America.
No, he got
That's how
himself
it's
a
based on this.
1977 1300L Unimog. And guess what? It made him look small. And then came the mid-90s, which saw the creation of the light model 408 and my favorite model, the Fun Mog. The Fun Mog was a luxury version of the 408 with chrome everything, leather interior, and a sound system. Oddly though, the Fun Mog deleted the hydraulic system, so it was basically a golf cart with crazy ground clearance. If I had a Fun Mog, man, I'd just drive right up red carpet of the Oscars. I'd be like, hey, what's up, Lizzie Lohan? You left all your sunglasses at my house. You want them back? She's like, okay, I'll meet you at the Vanity Fair after party. Lindsay Lohan, huh?
Hilarious.
Yeah, man, Lindsay Lohan. I don't remember her twin sister's name, but I've been a big fan ever since Parent Trap. And since Mercedes had just made a Lil Mog, it only made sense to offset that with a new, massive 6x6 known as the 2450. I work 2450, baby. 24 hours a day, 50 days a year. Unimogs were always utilitarian, straightforward, and efficient, but in 2002, after moving production to their heavy-duty truck plant, they got just a little bit fancier with the launch of the 3000, 4000, and 5000 series. Mercedes had to compete with other heavy-duty truck manufacturers like Hino and Cam-Az. Not only do they compete with them for sales in the commercial and military markets, they literally compete with them in the notorious Dakar Rally. Now, even though they race, it should be noted that the highest trim modern Unimog has a top speed of 56 miles per hour. Slow speeds are just part of the reason you don't see celebrities driving them around much or at all, because they aren't legal in the US. You can get one once they're 25 years old, but do
Why are they
you
illegal
have
in the
any
US?
idea how expensive
Oh,
it is to
super fast.
maintain an old 14,000-pound Mercedes in a country that never sold them? But probably the biggest reason you don't see them at movie premieres or swanky restaurants is because they don't belong there. They were designed to be mechanical oxen, and using them for anything else is a pain in the ass. Can you imagine driving this thing up a tight road? They're freaking huge. While the basic principles of the original 1946 Unimog have stayed the same throughout its history, technology has definitely helped make it much more capable. In the process of installing emergency radios on the second highest volcano in the world in Chile, a pair of Unimogs just set the record for reaching the highest altitude a wheeled vehicle has ever gone at 21,961 feet. That's 6,694 meters for our friends that live anywhere besides the US. Whether it's self-inflating tires, special rock crawling gearing, or a steering wheel that can be moved from the right to left-hand drive with the push of a lever, Unimogs are still one of the most versatile vehicles ever created to go anywhere and do that can be moved from the right to left-hand drive with the push of a lever.
Oh wow! The steering wheel is actually very versatile. You can use a lot. See, it's very versatile.
Unimogs are
Okay, I can say a Unimog. The first one there looks like the UK flag, United Kingdom flag. Wow, that's a lot of
Still one of the
space.
most versatile
Yes,
vehicles
man.
ever created to go anywhere and do anything. Thank you guys so much for watching Up to Speed and everything else on Donut. We got 4 weekly shows right now. In the next couple months, we're gonna bring it to 7, and that's just the beginning. To make sure you don't miss any of that stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and we'll let you know what's coming out. We got a podcast now. It's called Pass Gas, and every week, Nolan, me, and Joe dive deep into the history of the craziest, most awesome stories in the automotive world. We actually started a second YouTube channel.
Actually, so splendid to see this. The Unimog was as is as far back and as old as 1945 when the whole idea started, and seeing the improvement and the advancement over the year is so amusing. I know he made a mention of using this car to fancy places. I could just imagine a very enormous and gigantic car going to a restaurant. Like the parking space, you're going to pay for two parking space because this ain't any normal car you see on the road. And making mention of the car not used in some a specific country based on the high maintenance, and with the fact that the car is not being produced in their country, it's going to be very costly, which is actually very reasonable for people to say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to purchase this car because of the cost, not only the cost of purchasing, cost of maintenance as well. So amazing to see. And the main reason why they actually did all of this invention coming from the technological the agricultural sector, it's so amusing because they saw a need for it, and they went for it, and make this production, which is still helpful. And the production actually branched, or should I say bettered, a lot of invention from it itself, the tractor, the heavy, all those heavy machines and the likes of them. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. But for me, I always say it's always the Germans, you guys, it's always them. And I'll see you guys on my next one. Do not forget to like, subscribe to my channel. I love you guys. Bye.